Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roll and Move Reviews Live, our first episode, our pilot episode. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us live, I appreciate it. Let me introduce my guests today. First, we have an old friend of Roll and Move. I've been on his channel a few times. He showed up on mine sometimes. He is my brother-in and the host of Bears and Board Games. Please welcome Georgie.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How you doing today, Georgie?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty rushed, but also very good. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me on again, Kurt.
Absolutely. And also joining us, we have a new friend to Roll and Move Reviews. Oh.
We're still here. We're live.
Oh, hi! I'm still very new to this.
Sorry, guys. I was getting a little feedback on my end. I had to shut that down. No, introducing a new friend of the show. She is, you know her from her blog, Artsy Robot. You know her from her appearances on Board Game Blender and her YouTube channel, Boards and Crafts. Please welcome the creative and talented Jessi B.
Hi.
I'm supposed to have sound effects to applaud for you guys, and I can't find them.
We'll just.
This is our pilot episode. This is where you work out all the bugs.
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be on. I'm excited.
Thank you for coming. So am I. And sorry, guys. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce. We have a sponsor today, and I'm sure the way the show's going so far, they're very proud of us. We are sponsored today by geekygoodies.com. They're a website where you can get all kinds of cool geek-related gifts, including this really cool Meeples Abbey Road poster behind me. If you guys can see that.
That's nice.
The Beatles / the Meeples, right?
Absolutely. And we're actually going to be giving one of those away today. So if you sorry, my kids are coming in with dirt. They run in from outside. What we're going to do today is during the show, if you're watching live, at some point I'm going to give you a game dimension to email me, and if you can get in touch with me within 24 hours, we're going to draw a name, and the winner is going to win one of these posters. So keep watching live, and we'll announce the winner later.
That's awesome.
Can we enter? Because I kind of want one of the posters, to be honest.
You can enter, but I don't know if you'll win.
It's worth a shot.
So thanks again, guys. Apologize for the distractions. And let's start out by talking. What have you been playing lately? What games have you been playing? Georgie, what have you been up to, man? I know you had your game group this week, right?
Yeah, we had our game group up at Illyrium Games. We played. Well, we started off with some smaller ones. So we played Coup, Resistance. We had a really intense game of Resistance, actually, where on the first round, I don't know how many of you guys have played Resistance, but on the very first round, one of the bad guys actually made us fail, and it wasn't me, I was part of it, and the accusation just came flying at me, but because I was a bad guy in the game before, that was it, I was the bad guy for the rest of the game, even though I wasn't, that was kind of stressful, so Jason, if you ever watch this, so we played that. We hit 5 tribes, which I failed miserably at, but also really enjoyed. Exploding Kittens, the exploding cat game. It was kind of interesting. I kind of like playing that.
Tell me about that. Tell me about Exploding Kittens.
It's offensive if you play the offensive version, but
I mean, you're not
still
wrong.
fun. I really enjoyed it.
So it's cards against cats, basically, is what you're telling me.
Very much cards against cats, yeah, and cards against other mammals and things like of the like. But yeah, it was really fun. Not going to say too much about it because it's offensive. But it was great. We also played near the end. There was also a game of Crag Mortha going on that I'd never seen before or heard of, but it seemed to involve a lot of people like tucking cards behind their neck, and if you drop a card, gain another curse sort of thing. So it seemed to be quite like a dexterity game, but it was It was fun. I didn't play it, but looking over at them, and it seemed like some guy had like his chin on the table, like weighing it, like weighing a card down, and it was really fun. I enjoyed it.
That's cool. I never heard of that one
I think
before. It sounds fun.
Yeah, it was. I think that was kind of all we played. We didn't play a ton of games. We were doing a lot of talking because we're heading down to the UK Games Expo, but I'll mention that and other stuff that we've been up to. I'll
Cool.
mention that in the next bit, but that's about all we've been playing. Oh, Colt Express and Odin's Ravens again as well, because me and my wife love that game.
I want that game.
Yeah, that looks really
I've been eyeing it for like months.
You've been playing a lot of
it's-
Cold Express, huh? That's one of your favorites recently.
Yeah, I picked it up because we played it at the game day like 2 months ago, and it's just such a fun game. Like it's because there's no real there's no huge strategy to it, but when what you plan out in the cards goes right, you can do nothing but laugh in everyone's face like, I got you. So it's really awesome. I enjoy that type of style.
That sounds pretty cool. Jessi, how about you? What you've been playing?
Lots and lots of D&D. My group recently has become obsessed with that game. We've also been playing some Sentinels of the Multiverse, and I got to go to my first friendly local gaming store game night this past Thursday, actually, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Got to play Kill the Overlord, which I never heard of until one of my friends brought it, and it's literally just a bunch of people from a court trying to kill the Overlord. It's like hot potato.
Oh, that sounds fun.
That sounds like a good.
You were telling me off the air. You said you're playing in like 4 different D&D campaigns right now.
Yeah, I think Monday, Thursday, and we alternate on Saturdays. We have 4 D&D campaigns, and I have a different character in each one, so it's kind of hectic.
That's crazy.
To say the
Sounds like a lot
least.
of fun though.
It really is. Like we've been having a blast. We've been playing it to where it focuses more on the story than like the actual mechanics. So like it goes crazy.
That's always the best way to play.
Do what now?
I said that's always the best way to play when you're more focused on the story than on the mechanics.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun. Our whole team or group got turned into sheep once, so that was pretty entertaining.
I have not got a chance to play a role-playing game in a long time, and
Yeah.
I was at my game store the other day just looking around, and I was watching a group of people play, and I was just like, oh man, that looks like so much fun. And it's funny because it's like, that's like the real world, like those are the people that get made fun out of, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like so jealous. I'm like, I just want to play with them. That looks like so much fun. But so hopefully I'll get a chance to do that soon. I think they're playing Pathfinder, which I know a lot of people are playing right now.
That's one I need. I've been wanting to play.
Do you run the D&D campaigns, Jessi, or do you just take part in them?
I just take part in them. I'm just a player. Actually, my fiance is the DM for it, and it's all his story. He homebrewed the whole thing, and it's been fantastic so far. He's running 3 of them, and I don't know how he's doing it, honestly. But so we have, I think, our biggest group. We have 8 players actually, and I don't know how that happened. We got a big crew right now. I think in total there's about 8 different players in the game, not including not including the DM. So it's a big crew because everybody just decided that they wanted to play it.
That's crazy. That is a big group. Okay, Georgie, I'm reading the comments. I got to ask, what's up with Mafia de Cuba?
Oh, you didn't just ask that question. Okay, so you asked, let's go there. We were playing Mafia de Cuba. I don't know if Jessi, if you played it or you guys have seen it. So one guy plays the Godfather. You pass the box around, you steal diamonds or take a roll token.
Yeah.
Throughout the game, classic watch was okay. So let's put it in some polite terms. That the friendly local game store owner, who is very friendly but also is very corrupted, decided that it would be a good idea when everyone's eyes were shut to reach over and just squeeze 2 people's legs and then see what their reactions were. So, sorry, cats in the way. It was disturbing at best, but I haven't laughed so much during a game in a long time.
We actually tried playing that the other night, and it didn't go too well with our game group because we do a lot of social deduction games, and they were all very confused by some of the hidden roles that you could do in that game. I don't
Okay.
know. They had difficulty with it, but we'll probably try it again soon. But we didn't have any experiences like that.
Well, he was kind of hoping because when everyone's eyes were closed, like me and Breck, who also was one of the participants in the leg rubbing, just kind of burst out into laughter, and then everyone was like, "What's everyone laughing at?" And me and Breck were just like, "Somebody just touched our leg." Oh, man.
That's pretty great.
So yeah, that's just the story of Mafia de Cuba, and it will forever be probably one of the funniest games that I've ever played.
That's cool. Over the weekend, I got to play Codenames with my game group for the first time. Have you guys played that?
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
I love that game.
Now, I've played it several times with like family, like in a party setting.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get my game group just as I wanted to see what they would think of it. So when I played it with my family, and I mean I had literally people from 6 years old to like in their 70s playing together, and everybody's having a good time doing it. I got it with my game group, and I think we broke it because it's a much different situation when you're playing with like cutthroat gamers who just want to win at all costs, and it got to the point where it was like, okay. My guess, the clue giver would give their clue, and basically their team would talk about maybe 6 possible clues. They say, okay, here are the 6 possible clues or the 6 possible words we'll pick. They pick 3 of them. If they were wrong, then the clue giver would just give and the other 3 were right. They just give the same clue again. So they kind of find a way to break the game a little bit. So I decided I'm not going to play that with my game group anymore. That's going to be a family party game because it's just not as much fun playing with the when it's a game you can manipulate if you're just in it to win at all costs.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Codenames Pictures is coming out?
No, I haven't.
How's that work?
I presume it's exactly the same, but they're going to use different. I don't know like how specific the pictures are going to be either. I'm hoping they're not going to be like as extravagant as a Mysterium card or a Dixit card, for example. But I believe it's just going to be exactly the same shape of cards and things, but instead of words, it's just going to be little images, and you're going to have to just do exactly the same. So pick from the grid. But it's in exactly the same size box, so I'm presuming it's going to be a standalone as well. But don't quote me on that. It looks kind of fun. I hope it'll be better at that.
It's going to be like
Codename.
apples to apples to Dixit, kind of.
Kind of, but with no voting, I guess. Just still the same idea as Codenames. So you have a team, everyone decides which cards they're going to pick, and some clue giver. Can't remember the guy's name. Gives the people trying to find the spies the Spy Master. That would probably fit better. I think that is the actual name, actually. So
I think so.
I don't remember.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm going to have to check that out because that sounds very fun to do.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll add a whole new layer to it because it's one thing if it's one word and everybody knows what the word is, but if you're adding that interpretation of the images on top of it, that's going to really add a layer of difficulty to it. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got to play Burgle Brothers for the first time this weekend. You guys played that?
I have not. What is that one like?
No.
It's pretty cool. You play a team of. It's a co-op game. You're all on a heist. You're trying to crack the safes, and you got a building. You got 3 sets of tiles, each represent a different floor in the building, and you play these characters. And the characters are the coolest part about it. It's almost like if Pixar made a heist movie. That's what these characters look like. They have that real like angular shape to them, and they're just really cool looking. And they all have their, you have like the safe cracker, you have the team leader, you have all these different people who do different, have different powers and abilities, and you're going through, and basically you go in each floor is a bunch of tiles flipped down. You're trying to find the safe and then the stairs to get to the next room, or the next floor. But there's a bunch of alarms, and there's a guard moving around chasing you, and if you get caught by the guard, you basically lose health points every time you get caught. And the AI for moving the guard around is real cool. You just have a set of cards, and it moves different places on the grid. Really fun game. Really fun co-op. I had a good time with it.
I'll definitely have to check that one out. That one sounds
like
right up my group's alley.
Yeah.
It's like the box, like a power block or something as well. So, like a helipad on top.
I think so. Yeah, it's a block. It's a real. Let's see if I have it there. If you guys have seen Paperback, it's the exact same size box Paperback comes in. But yeah, it's decorated the way you were talking about. It looks like the building with the helipad on top. Because that's the ultimate goal. You're trying to get to the top floor so you can escape in your helicopter.
That sounds cool.
All right. Let's move on to our Kickstarter update for the week. And Georgie, you are my Kickstarter guy, so I'm gonna let you take the lead here. Tell me what's going on Kickstarter. What are you backing? What do you want to back? What's coming up? You're excited about?
Well, there's been quite a few things that I've been wanting to back, but I've held off quite a lot because, again, it seems like I'm starting to plug it now, but because I'm going to this UK Games Expo, kind of trying to save money. It's not going as well as I hoped. However, Colosseum recently just finished. That's one I'm really gutted about not backing. I really should have. However, the artwork didn't seem as good as the previous edition, but Tasty Minstrel Games releasing it again. I think it made like 130k in the end, so it hit all of its stretch goals. Ghostbusters 2 is currently out on Kickstarter as well. I don't know why. Ghostbusters 1 kind of looked sucky. I wasn't really interested in it. I don't like the idea of having like blue ghouls and no other colors, but this one has like. I mean, it looks, from what I saw, because all I saw was the ad on Board Game Geek. It's Ghostbusters 2 the movie, right? Like they have the pink slime and all that, and the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, so the boards are all like slime. I presume they're just going to give you like another Ecto 1, probably car exactly the same as the last one, because it seems like that kind of game. I don't know. I feel like even though they made millions and millions of pounds, like they're cheaping out on it a bit. Like, I don't know. They're giving us like different models for Ghostbusters, but the first Ghostbusters game, nobody raved about it. It came out, everyone was really excited about it. When it actually came out, everyone's, this is an okay game, it's nothing special. The whole, like, trapping people with those, like, circle bits of cardboard, like, it seems kind of cool. I like the idea of trapping ghosts, but why were all the ghosts blue? And why did all the Ghostbusters look like they were in pain, even when they were just on the box cover? Like, I just don't understand. It almost stressed me out a little bit. Just a quick shout out to another one of my awesome friends, Rado's Kickstarter just finished, so he's going to be doing year 5. Okay. I'm totally stoked. I always back Rado's Kickstarters, and he is, for lack of a better words, a total dude. I love his run-throughs as well. So, what else has been happening in the world of Kickstarter just now? We had Santori, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but like a 3D building level game that looks like there's like Hades and a bunch of other things going on in it, where you actually like move your characters into like visible positions, and whether they're on top of buildings or below buildings, looks like super interesting. But again, try to save money, so I'm not currently backing anything. I'm just looking at Kickstarter much 24/7, just not backing it. So kind of upsetting.
That's rough. I don't keep up with Kickstarter that much because I know I'm going to spend all of my money on it. If I don't, or if I do,
it's very easy to do. Oh, the correct pronunciation is Santorini for that game. Sorry, my bad. Also, Rum and Bones Second Tide. So, yet another cool mini or not game hitting Kickstarter. Even though they're already releasing like 36 games, 37 games this year that were not Kickstarted, they for some reason are still insisting on Kickstarter. But I mean, their games are awesome, so I can't really complain. But again, Rum Bones is one of those games that it came out, it looked okay with the 2 big boats, and then they added like some sort of 3rd player mechanic, I think. But it's not really that interested in it for some reason. I love the pirate theme. The game looks mediocre at best, for lack of a better words.
Yeah, whenever that one came out, I liked it. I liked the like art for that one. I didn't know that they were coming out with the second one, though. I didn't know that they were already with the second one. I think that came out last year, didn't it? Rum and Bones?
Yeah. That's right. I
That's
believe it's
crazy.
actually later part of last year as well. Like by the time everyone got it, anyway.
Yeah. Well,
And there's another card game called Catbox that seems kind of interesting. That they were only asking for like $5,000, so not a great amount, but I don't know. I'll let you guys check that one out if you want. I don't really want to say too
What's
much
it
about
called?
Catbox.
Catbox?
Yeah, it's just like a
huh.
little card game, like a little clever card game, and the artwork's pretty cute. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. So that seems to be all from Kickstarter right now. All of great interest. There are some other things kicking about. A lot of people probably be like, "Why didn't you mention this?" or "Why didn't you mention that?" But for me, that seems to be the most interesting. Oh, and actually, a local game. I say local, UK-based game called Great Scott as well, which I did like a small review for. That is now on Kickstarter, and it is a really clever game. It's like one of those it's like build an invention and make a pitch for it, and you're pitching it to basically be the greatest inventor, so that you can be Queen Victoria's private inventor or royal inventor, I think it's called. And some of the cards are awesome, and you end up with like a great big name like this. And it's just all like different point values and things. It has that like bad medicine pitch mechanism to it. However, I much prefer it to bad medicine because I did struggle a bit with trying to pitch pharmaceutical drugs as if they were like some great thing, and I really couldn't get into the theme of that at all. But Great Scott, I really got on board with. I really enjoyed the theme, so check that out as well.
That sounds
That
like
one sounds interesting. I know on Kickstarter they're doing Bottom of the Ninth, the first expansion for that. That came out a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that's the Clubhouse one, is it? It's Clubhouse, I
Mhm.
believe. Yeah, cool. I've still not played Bottom of the Ninth. I'm upset about that. Don't put it in
It's
front of me.
really fun.
I'm upset.
Yeah,
Really
I picked this up. I played this last year at Origins. I really liked this. This is what I was going to talk about too. Just I think we were on the same page there because the thing I'm most excited about that is I think they have a collector's box with it.
Yes.
Because if you look at this is the game and both expansions they put out already. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't want everything to come falling out. But there's 2 expansions packed in there, and I've been really stressed out about. There you go. You can see it. I've been really stressed out about what was going to happen when they put out another expansion.
Yeah, like
definitely not gonna
ours, we weren't able to fit everything in there. I don't know.
I had to really work to do this. So. When people want to play it, I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because I got to get everything back in.
Yeah.
So the box they're putting out for it looks pretty cool, and I'm assuming it's just going to be. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too closely. Do you know what the teams look like, or what any new mechanics or anything like that?
I know that they have Eric Lang as one of the promos for the promo pack. And I know that they're adding equipment in to where like you add a little bit more components and make it a little bit more, I guess, meaty of a game. But other than that, I haven't really looked into it because again, like I gotta save money, and if I really look into this, I'll probably end up buying it. Like, so
yeah,
I kind of have to hide myself away from it.
Yeah, that's what I'll probably wait till that comes out. But I'm very excited about that.
I'm hoping that they have it at Gen Con this year because since I'm going down, I'm hoping that I'll be able to just kind of casually buy that.
I'm so jealous that you're going to Gen Con. It upsets me. However, I've still got my con. I'm going to the biggest one in the UK, so it's enjoyable.
When is that, Georgie?
June the 3rd to the 5th. So I will be going down Thursday the 2nd. I will be driving down, hoping to pick up a couple of randomers as well. We've been posting on BGG, like transports. We're already picking up currently a randomer. He shall only be known as Jeff until we actually meet him. So we're picking him up and taking him from. So it's kind of going to be weird because we haven't met him yet, but we're going to be having an 8-hour car journey together. So hopefully he puts up with our behavior.
You're going to get to know him.
Well, he'll get to know us if I know if yeah, the way we are. He'll get to know us pretty quickly, I think. Anyway, there. That just reminded me. I just looked at the comments actually, and excuse my throat. Breck, one of the other guys that we play with at the game group, who's watching this right now, has just mentioned that we also played Star Wars Rebellion. I don't know how I could forget.
How was that?
Unbelievably awesome. I really enjoyed the theme. It's a pretty easy one to win over for me. But the idea of like hiding your planet and then like there's like a bit at the side of the board where you can deploy like people for your hidden base, and the Galactic Empire just kind of trolling about the place trying to find you, but they can go into the orbit of planets, but they can't find you unless they actually bring troops with them and land their troops on the planets. It's a fairly simple game once you get your hand around the mechanics, but to start with, we were kind of like, what do we do here? What's going on? I think because we all started playing it, we played like a 4-player game, and I've heard it's supposed to be a lot better with 2, but it was still really, really fun. And Rebels won. I was also playing a Rebel because my wife. We we hid a Rebel base on Dantooine, and nobody thought to check there. Come on! It's like one of the last places to check. So, in your face, if any are watching this.
Yeah, I'm really excited to try that one out. That was on my most anticipated list for this year, and it really looks like it captures the theme well. Doesn't look like there's a lot going on. It looks like a really heavy game, but looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean the timeline is 3 to 4 hours.
Wow.
We were learning the game at the same time, so we were learning, and to be honest, it lasted 6 hours, but I would say we spent about 3 hours arguing over Star Wars lore. Like, would this happen? Oh, this happened.
This isn't canon.
And well, there was like a huge, I would say huge, there was like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering stuff like going on the side, and everyone just kind of kept looking over like, are you guys actually playing the game, or are you guys just like arguing over whether it happened in Bespin, or what? Like, what's the score?
That's
It
awesome.
was so awesome. It was
I'm
an
really
experience
excited
we had.
Did you go to play that one yet, Jessi?
No, I have not had a chance to play that one yet. I kind of hide in my corner with board games. But I definitely want to play that one. We got the Game of Thrones. I forgot what it's actually called, but we got that board game for Christmas, and we still haven't opened it. Like the big, huge one that's supposed to be like building. One of our relatives decided to get it for us, and I was just like, "Oh, this is awesome!" It's already April, almost to May, and we still haven't opened it. So.
That is a long game as well, though, so you need to like put the time aside to actually sit and play that game. And also, you need like 3 or 4 really committed players who's not going to start sulking halfway through because their Lannisters aren't winning or the Baratheons aren't on top or something. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the perfect atmosphere to open that one up.
You all right?
April 20th, maybe that could be a good time to start that back up. Since Game of Thrones is back.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Let's talk about. This is our first episode. So I figured a good topic to be talking about today would be our board game first. So I guess what I wanted to ask you guys, just give me some stories, give me some information on the board games you remember playing the first as a kid, or the games that got you into the hobby. If they're not the same thing, if they're different games. But what are some of your first game memories? Some of the stories that really brought you into the hobby. Jessi, how about you go first?
All right. I think the first one that I remember playing was actually Clue, because my mom loved that game, and so like I don't know how, but every game she would win, like instantly. And I mean like it got to the point that like I would stare her down, make sure that like she wasn't cheating or anything, and she would win every time. And so that became one of my favorites. And then my dad would he hated it, but I loved playing Monopoly, so we would play that one constantly. And tried playing that a few years ago. Turns out I can be a sore loser in that one. But board games were one of the big things, like for family game night. We had that like I think every Thursday or something while I was growing up, whenever we got a chance to. So like it was always a part of me, but then it kind of disappeared whenever I joined marching band. Mm-hmm. And we would have game nights, like once a month, like the marching band crew would get together and play game nights, even though it was usually Egyptian Rat Screw and Cards Against Humanity, but it was still, I think it still counts. Um, and then I got into college, and one of my friends excitedly like just met him a few weeks in. He's just like, I kickstarted this. We should play this, and it was Sentinels of the Multiverse, and that was like my first like introduction to modern board games. And my first character in that was Haka. If you've ever got to play that, I don't know. I know you have,
Yeah.
but he's still my favorite, surprisingly, and I've been addicted since that. Like we've played. I think the next one we played was Arkham Horror. And
Wow, that's a big one.
like, yeah, like we jumped from like this casual like 30-minute game to like I think it lasted 8 hours because we had like the max amount of people with that game.
How did you ever play board games again?
Well, we ended up making a ridiculous joke because one of our friends had Harvey Walters, and he kept on getting thrown into portals. So about halfway through the game, he tried walking out, but then he came back, and we just made this like silly joke with ourselves. And now like Harvey Walters is this crazy old man who travels through time on a spaceship, or not on a spaceship, but on like a ship, and just will come in and save the day casually because that's how we won the game, with him just appearing out of nowhere. Like he hasn't been able to do anything this whole game, and he comes in the ship and wins it for us. So, like, those good memories. Like,
You won the game. That's something that I've never done. So.
Do what now? Oh, winning the game?
Yeah. We played Eldritch not too long ago, and I don't feel like we did that well. I thought that we were kind of building a little bit of momentum, and down came everything. Yeah.
I think I'm one of the few people who still like Arkham better than Eldritch. I've always liked Arkham, but that's a big game to jump right into. From Sentinels to Arkham, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it was it was a nice surprise because I don't know, I loved because all of my friends, like, we love telling stories, so we were able to really get into both of those. Sentinels, there was a lot more, I guess, role playing. We would really get into the characters that we were, and we would like jokingly like be just like, okay, well, I'm going to throw this into the stratosphere and da da da, and so they were just like, oh, well, if you like stories, Arkham Horror, and so
Cool.
it got me hooked, so it worked.
How about you, Georgie? What were some of your first games?
Well, quite like Jessi, Clue, or Cluedo, as it's called over here in the United Kingdom. So I used to really enjoy it. I don't really remember ever winning it, but I remember really liking the sort of deduction side of it, just like traveling around, like going into different rooms and be like, "It's Colonel Mustard with the candlestick in the library." No, that's definitely not right. Okay, well, never mind. I just remember getting really excited about ever getting a chance to actually call out and never getting it right. Game of Life as well. I think it's just called Life over with you guys.
Yeah.
There's like a spin
Tiny
dial.
toys above
Yeah. So yeah, that was like quite a big one for me. And when I remember being quite young, I really do remember like enjoying that game and loving the fact that it didn't have a dice and just had the spin dial, because that was like a totally new thing for me when I was a kid. And then I kind of lost interest in board games because I got Super Nintendo. I blame my parents for that. It's almost like father, I guess, like getting me out of board games to play a video game, but never mind. And when I was getting back into the hobby, I guess I have a lot to thank Will Wheaton for, because I remember discovering tabletop. Like, I love Will Wheaton anyway, as much as a lot will hate him. But I remember discovering tabletop and just thinking it was one of the greatest things ever. Like, oh my god, like, Wesley Crusher is playing board games and not fixing the Enterprise. This is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's been some of the games that he was playing. We played Cards Against Humanity, Munchkin, like just the standard kind of intro games like that. And then I kind of went from that quickly into Catan, Kings of Tokyo. It just kind of snowballed from there. Next thing I remember, I have over 100 games on a massive shelf behind me, so it's been a bit of a blur since then. A
I
good
think
blur.
I might have 50. Maybe.
50. You're almost at your geek badge for in Board Game Geek. You'll get your collector's one at 100, so you're halfway there.
I'm a little bit away.
I actually started. First games I remember when I was a kid. I know a lot of people in my family played Trivial Pursuit, and it was just like my family was super competitive when it came to gaming. Everybody was real crazy about it, and I just remember being real like I was probably like 6, 7, 8 years old, just sitting there watching everybody play, and I probably picked up a lot of my bad gaming habits there because everybody just wanted to was just real cutthroat. Everybody fight tooth and nail to win. And then when I was a kid, there were a lot of the games for kids were pretty lousy, and I know they are now too. But there's some really dumb games when I was a kid. They were like gross. Like everything was about like throwing up. Like there's always like somebody made on a cardboard, and they were always like throwing up or stuff coming out of their nose. Just like really stupid games.
Gooey Louie.
Yeah, Gooey Louie. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah, that's the one. And but I remember there was one game when I was a kid that really like captured my imagination because this is I'm dating myself here, but this is when I was a kid. Atari was first coming out, and video games are starting to ruin kids for all other hobbies. So any game I was going to play on a table had to compete with Pitfall or Donkey Kong or whatever. And the game that really captured my imagination was Fireball Island. I didn't know at that point anything about like role-playing games or tabletop hobby games, but that was the first game I played where it was like, oh wow, this is a game where it's an experience. It's not just a game. There's something more, like just like you said, there's a little bit of a story to it. So as a kid, that one really sucked me. Did you guys ever play that?
I have watched people play it. It looks really fun.
I know you guys are both a lot younger than me, so I mean it's probably already a collector's item by the time you guys were old enough to play it, but. It was.
I was just about to say, Kirk, I am 28, not 70, so I don't actually know.
Oh my gosh, I'm the child. I'm the baby of the group. I'm 23.
That's all right. So yeah, I mean that was off the shelves long before you guys had the opportunity to play it, and I know now we were on. This is what I was talking. I think you were there with me. I was talking to Asdrol about games. There's retro games my son wants to buy.
Yeah.
We were looking at Fireball Island on the internet on eBay or something. It was like $500. Like, oh, Dad, let's buy that. I'm like, no, we're not buying that now. So,
$500.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I found an empty box for $75. If you want just the box, I get it to you for $75.
You can just hang that on your wall.
Exactly.
I feel like I need to investigate this game further now. So excuse me for 1 minute.
That's all right. Let me know what you find.
Pirate Ball Island?
Yeah. I know one of the games that I played as a kid was Pokemon Master, and I looked that up recently. I think it's like $100 or $200 for that one too.
Oh, wow.
I was surprised with that.
Was that the card game or was that something else?
That was something else. That was an actual board game that like you would go through the first gen region, the Kanto region, and you would roll dice to capture Pokemon. And if you didn't get the dice, then it fled, and you had to hope that you would get one later on.
Okay.
And so like early on, like it would be like 2 to 6, you'd be able to get a Pokemon. Then like towards the end, like you had to get a 6 in order to get those legendary Pokemon. So like for me, my brother and I played that for hours on end. It was bad. But like we loved that game, and so I was just like, oh, I'm gonna get this back since I'm into board games again. This will be great to just have in my collection, like whenever like you have that cult book that you want to keep.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and I'm just like, nope. I hope I find it at Goodwill or something, because I don't have the money for that.
Yeah, it's crazy what these games go for as soon as they go to print.
Yeah, I don't know. I do miss that one though. As simple as it was, like it was a great game for me. A lot of good memories.
Is that the one that had like Pog tokens to it? Like little circle cardboard tokens?
Yeah.
I remember that. Pokemon Master Trainer, it was called over here. I totally remember that.
That's
I
cool.
enjoyed that one.
But what got me back into board games, and Jessi and I were talking about this a little bit off the air, I had friends, since like junior high, we played role-playing games. And I mean that was something we did all the time. Just we spent so many nights, so many weekends, just playing tons of role-playing games. And as we got older, we still wanted to play, but people get jobs, people get married, people have kids, and it really became impossible to get that same group in the room, all on a regular basis. So one day my friend comes and he's like, "Look, I bought these games." And I'm like, "What are they? Are they RPGs?" He's like, "No, they're board games." Like, that's kind of lame. And it was like Descent, and I think he had Arkham Horror in there, and Last Night on Earth, and a couple things like that. And I'm like, "So what do we do? Is it like Monopoly or something?" They're like, "No, play it." So I think Descent was the first hobby board game I played. And
Wow.
I was just like, but I mean, it's easy. It was not that board games are dumbed down or anything, but coming from RPGs, it's kind of a step backward. When you're used to a 100-page rule book for an RPG, a game that has a 30-page rule book isn't that big a deal. So that was the first one, and I played Arkham early too. That was one of my first. Arkham, Last Night, Descent, Memoir 44 was one of the ones we played early on. But yeah, I just got sucked in. Like I was telling Jessi, I said recently my group's been trying to get back into role-playing games because we've kind of gotten to a consistent schedule with our playing, and I'm kind of just like, I just want to play board games. Can we just do that? Because that's fun. So, but that's kind of where I came from into the hobby.
Awesome. I think we all had some kind of interest in. Like we all seem to have round about the same firsts. Trivial Pursuit was another one, but I think we all kind of got into it slightly differently, I guess, from different angles.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quite interesting.
That's kind of cool.
So let me ask you this, guys: when you're introducing new players to games, when you have somebody who's I've never played board games before, at least not hobby board games, what do you think? What are some of your go-to games to introduce the first game you play with a new player?
For me, it's a card game, usually Love Letter, because it's so straightforward and it's pretty simple. So I'll just kind of throw that at them, and then for some reason it's become a tradition to show them Signals of the Multiverse for my group. So it's usually one of those two for me.
It's kind of a tough one. Love Letter is always a good one to show people. Also Red 7, because there's that sort of. I'm a really big fan of Red 7, but there's that mechanic where you cannot use the special powers in the top right hand side of the card. Sorry. So you can just sort of play the numbers game and just draw if you play higher cards to the canvas, for example. It's a really good introductory game for me, and if you want to say, right, you guys want to try something a little bit harder, let's play the same game, but we add these rules to it, so it gives them extra things to think about while they're playing it. If my wife's involved, it's generally Kings of Tokyo we teach new people, because she loves that game and has a bad habit of just rolling 6 threes or 5 threes all the time, sorry. So she's 100 points and totally trounces everyone, but Kings of Tokyo is a fun one to teach new players as well.
Yeah,
and sometimes I just go from Kings of Tokyo straight to Twilight Imperium 3rd editions, so yeah.
That's not that much of a leap.
No, not really. Yeah,
Yeah, I like King of New York, showing that one as a gateway game too.
I've still not played that one. I'm interested. But everyone I talk to is it's good, but it's just a little bit more gamey than Kings of Tokyo. But it seems interesting. It looks like there's tanks and stuff. I'm cool. I'm totally down with that.
I enjoy it because it's so it's like a meaty version of Yahtzee, so it's really easy for people that are used to Yahtzee jumping into that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I personally like King of New York better. If you're looking, if people like the simplicity of Tokyo, if that's the kind of thing that turns them on to that game, then they're probably not gonna. You may not like New York as much, but if you play King of Tokyo, you're I can go a little further with this. Then I think King of New York's worth checking out.
Yeah, and they are soon going to be doing an expansion. I don't know if it's already out. I'm kind of behind of making them how they did the expansions for the King of New York or King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
And making them more diverse.
Oh, okay. So every monster is going to get its own deck of cards again, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was just looking into that the other day. I think that's coming out in the fall.
Okay. Probably just in time for Gen Con.
Yeah. One of my favorites to introduce to people, and now when I introduce people to game, it's for selfish reasons. Like I'm not trying to grow the hobby or anything. I just want more people to play games with, and I want them to play the games I like, and I like thematic games. So the game I always try to introduce people to right off the bat is Smash Up.
Oh.
And the reason I like Smash Up is because it's easy, real easy to teach. It's a simple game, and it's fun, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. And it kind of sucks people in, I think, new gamers, because, I mean, you're playing with aliens and wizards and zombies and all kinds of stuff you find in thematic board games. But it's kind of like making fun of itself, and it's like, isn't this telling the new gamer, like, look how silly this is. This is kind of dumb, isn't it? And I think it makes them comfortable playing a game with those themes, and at the same time introduces it. Yeah, this is kind of cool. This is this is something I can get into. So I like to use that. It's 4 players, so it's a small group. You can't introduce a whole lot of people to it, but at a time anyway. But I think if you got a small group of new players, that's my go-to game. Just because, like I said, it introduces them to thematic games in a really cool way.
Yeah. For me, a lot of the people that I introduce games to, they're big fans of Marvel or DC, some comic book. So, like, having Sentinels of the Multiverse, which is based off of that, it's a nice little slide into board games.
Yeah. I think anybody who, if you like comic books, that's what I tell everybody. If you're into comics, then you gotta play Sentinels. If you like that theme, because it does a great job of capturing that theme.
Mm-hmm. I wish that they had actual comic books and stories, because there's so much of it hidden in the flavor text. There's beautiful multiverse that's hidden away in the cards.
Have you played Sentinels Tactics yet?
Yes. I have every expansion of that one.
I like how they do the comics as part of the rulebook.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a nice touch.
Explain the scenarios. That's really cool. But I was going to talk a little bit more about Sentinels and how bummed out I am that that's coming to an end.
Oh, no.
They got their last expansion is up on Kickstarter. Is it? Do you know, Jessi? Have they finished it yet? Is it done, or is it still active?
It is done. It ended a couple of weeks ago, I think. They reached every oh my gosh, I forgot the word of it. They stretch goal. That's a phrase. They reached all of those. So they have a bunch of promo cards that are coming out with it, and they have this nice, beautiful box to keep all of the cards and expansions in. And the big bad Oblivion, like, he's gorgeous. Like, the game style for him is beautiful. So, and they have a lot of the villains that you played from the Ode expansions turned into heroes. So I think that that's a nice little touch, since the world's about to end.
Yeah, I'm really bummed out about that.
The multiverse.
Do what now?
I have a big problem with Sentinels of the Multiverse.
What's that?
The artwork's cool. I like the theme. I feel like sometimes the cards are a bit over text driven. There's too much stuff written on them, and I'm just like, what does that even mean? Like, sometimes I'm just reading it, like, is there something that I'm not picking up here? And then, to go a step further, for something that annoys me about Sentinels, I know, like, we promised we wouldn't do any rants, right? But I'm going to do a little one once I move the light out so I kind of look like an angel.
This might turn into a debate, but go ahead.
So, for us over here in Europe,
yeah,
they way overpriced shipping. They have basically consistently overpriced shipping for people in Europe, and for some reason, people still buy the game. People in Europe need to not pay that price for shipping and not encourage that type of behavior, because it's just wrong. Like, it's a heavy game. There's a lot of cards coming out. I get it, but it's that type of, like, that just should not happen in this day and age. Like, if you're going to make that much money and consistently release expansions, just take a little bit of a hit in the shipping. Like, if you're going to charge people shipping in the US, and then you're going to charge people like $35, which is like, what, 28 quid to get it shipped out into Europe, like, really, that's almost the price of the game over here. It's just, it's incredible, and I just do not understand why people continuously do it. It's one of those things that one of my bugbears on Kickstarter is if it's a small game, it's $15. If it's a big game, sometimes it's $15. If it's a cool mini or not game, they'll price it regarding how much stuff you get, which is fair enough. But if every Sentinels game comes out and costs you like £30 over here or whatever it is to get it shipped, it's just not worth it. You're placing yourself out of a market that just people spend enough money on board games as it is. They don't need to pay you ridiculous shipping costs either. So I guess that's my rant over with that.
I completely understand that. I mean, like, obviously I'm spoiled since I'm an American, but like I do understand that problem. That is rough because it's like buying an expansion, but not really because it's just money to ship it. So I understand that rant.
I've heard that complaint about Greater Than 2, even in the States. I've never backed any of their Kickstarter stuff. I always just buy it when it comes out to retail. But I've heard complaints even domestically how expensive their shipping is. So I totally understand that's. Now let me ask you a question. You're talking about direct ship. Does that affect if you go into a retail store? Are you paying a lot more at the store level for games because of the cost of getting them shipped over to Europe?
Retail, I've never seen one actually in my friendly local gaming store. I've never actually seen a Sentinels game for sale. Maybe that's something to actually take into consideration. There could be a reason as to why I've never seen one for sale. Maybe I've just not thought it through. But yeah, I think maybe that's got a big part to it. Because I know they did, I don't know if they still do it, but they had like store level backing options. So like you want 6 copies, pay this price. And guess what? We're still going to charge you like $20 a piece for shipping.
Oh, geez.
So, angers me greatly.
I honestly don't know much, but I do know that they are getting like the base first expansion of Sentinels into Targets over here, so they might be starting to soon be better about shipping overseas. Fingers crossed.
We hope so. Yeah.
Anyway,
That would be nice. That'd be nice. It's not just Sentinels. It is like I said, it's just Greater Than games. They like to do. I don't think they like to do it. I think they either plan for something to happen or some expense to come by, and there's absolutely no way it costs that much per game to get it shipped over here. And most people who use Kickstarter understand that and try to give it to the consumer as cheaply, as quickly, and with most freebies and exclusives as possible. They just don't seem to do that same
suit. It surprised me because board gaming is such an international hobby. You figure there'd be more consideration when you're shipping internationally, trying to reach as many people as you can.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they need to watch that we do not just take the whole Eurogame name back and just not let you guys use it. Because that's the way they're going, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that will be fixed soon. It'll take a little bit of work, but I mean, like, I'm not on that end of board gaming, of creating and selling it, so I don't know what works into that. So, but I'm hoping that will fix soon, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm exactly the same. I'm not really, like, on any sort of... I'm not really aware of much of the shipping or much of anything that costs like that, but what I do know is that other companies can avoid that type of cost, and they will do at all costs, essentially, just to stop pricing themselves out of any market. So, rant over. Apologies. We promise no rants.
That's all right. I got a comment here from Kathy. It says that she orders stuff from England to America, and she has the same problem. She's trying to order Peppa Pig games for her kids, and the shipping's pretty outrageous. So I guess it's working both ways, which, I mean, stinks either way, but I guess that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know who's not going to jip you out of shipping? GeekyGoodies.com, our sponsor. And today, right now, what I'm going to do is we're going to give away one of these posters. All you have to do if you're watching live within the next 24 hours, email me a name of one of the games that we talked about in this segment. One of the games we talked about is our first board games. One of the games we like to introduce to new gamers. If you email me the name of one of those games, you will be entered into the contest to win. So email that to rollandmovereviews@gmail.com. That's ROLLANDREVIEWS.com. and you will be entered to win. I'll announce the winner this week. Thank you to geekygoodies.com for sponsoring our episode.
Go.
You also check them out because a lot of cool gifts, a lot of cool board game T-shirts, decor like that. So check them out.
Sweet. They have a T-shirt with that on it? Because if they do, I'm probably going to buy it.
Yeah, I think they do have that T-shirt.
Ah, sweet.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
I think it's a good site because if you want to buy gifts for somebody, a gamer, and you don't know what games they have already have a lot of games. Gives you a lot of cool options. So check those guys out. All right, guys. Now's the part of the show where we talk about other stuff. We're not just gamers. We like other things. So this segment's called So What Else? So what else we want to talk about? And we talked about before, and a lot of superhero movie trailers coming out lately. We had Civil War. Their last trailer came out. We got a new Suicide Squad trailer come out. They just released the new Doctor Strange trailer last week. So I want to get your guys' opinions. The superhero movies coming out for the rest of the year. Which ones are you excited about? What do you like that you've seen? What don't you like? Let me hear it.
Does Jungle Book count as a superhero movie?
I don't think so.
I think it counts in the what else. It counts as a trailer.
I guess superhero films for me is, I'm going to have to say Doctor Strange. Like Benedict Cumberbatch, man, he is a total legend. Like, I don't know, do you guys have Sherlock over there?
Oh, yes.
Oh, so amazing.
Love it. It's... I have, like, forced people to watch that series of Sherlock. Because I love it so much.
It is such a brilliant series. So it's Doctor Strange for me. Like, Stephen Strange, man, I really hope, like, he portrays the total, like, narcissistic surgeon to start with. I really hope that something happens. Like, I hope that they follow the story like, oh, my hands, like, come to me, I'll teach you some magic. Like, it really sounds... I hope they do it that way, because I just see Benedict Cumberbatch just tearing that role.
It looks like they do, because, I mean, they focus, if you watch the trailer, there's a lot of focus on his hands. Like, they keep showing his hands. And it looks like they show him standing there in the tux, so I think they will get that whole transformation right. I have high hopes for that movie.
I feel like it will be somewhat similar to their animated film of Doctor Strange.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
That one was really good.
That's my favorite animated hero film so far, and that is even going up against the Red Hood Batman movie.
Oh,
so
wow,
that's crazy. I know. Kind of on this subject, real quick. Batman. No, Under the Red Hood. That Batman animated. Kind of, it's above Doctor Strange, but Doctor Strange is really close to it. That's one of my favorites for the animated hero movies.
Batman Under the Red Hood is probably my second or third favorite Batman movie ever. That's a great movie. But I did like Doctor Strange movie animated too. I mean, and he's a character it's hard to get wrong. I mean, if you just follow the if you follow the formula for him, he's a pretty cut and dry hero. So he's going to be tough to get wrong.
It's going to be a cool introduction to like the mystic side of the universe as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too.
It's going to be cool.
How about Suicide Squad? What do you think about what they put out for that so far?
Oh, I'm so excited about that. Whenever the new 52 came out, that was immediately I subscribed to that series. So like I'm really hyped, and I hope that they show a bunch of the other villains and more of their backstories than Joker and Batman. And that, because I mean Harley Quinn is a big focus in that comic book series, but like so is everyone else. And I hope that they kind of share all of these other beautiful villains and their stories, and not just focus, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I kind of hope it's not just like Margot Robbie just doing the whole like look at me, I'm Harley Quinn thing the whole time. I hope they do focus on like Deadshot and a couple of their characters. But also they're going to give some focus to Deadshot because it's Will Smith. It's the Smith man. Like he's definitely going to be in about a lot. So yeah, I'm kind of stoked for it. I'm so worried about it. I feel the same way I felt about Batman vs Superman. So please be good.
My fear for Suicide Squad is I think it looks awesome. The last two trailers they put out are really cool. What they've done is they've taken two really cool songs and like smash cut really good cool moments from the movie.
Oh yeah.
They basically made two really cool music videos.
Yeah.
Like, what if those are the only fun moments of the entire? They took like the 30 best seconds of the movie and put them to a really good soundtrack, because that's what they did with the new Star Trek movie. They put the sabotage behind it, and the movie looks kind of bad, but the trailer's awesome because they're playing sabotage.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous because of the DC movies, and I think there's some kind of mandate in DC movies where they can't be fun. And this movie looks fun, and that kind of freaks me out. So I don't know how to take that, but we'll see when it comes out.
Yeah, no joke, no smiling. No.
I have a rule with commercials, with trailers, that usually helps me a lot with like deciding whether or not it's going to be a good or bad movie. If they show, because they usually have like 3 different trailers out, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they show the same like scenes but a little bit different setup and like try to kind of change the story a bit, it's probably going to be a good movie. But if it has it to where each of the trailers have brand new content, you probably just saw the whole movie.
Yeah.
So it's worked out pretty well with me, that style.
Yeah, it's an interesting rule. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about Civil War? That comes out in a couple weeks. What do you guys feel about that?
I'm excited. I was surprised with the last trailer, some of the heroes that they got. I didn't realize they were going to get them. I don't know. That really made me excited. This most recent trailer, seeing it.
Yeah.
That's what got me hooked, honestly.
What about you, Georgie?
If they don't do Spider-Man right this time, I am out. Completely.
Yeah.
I'm sick of trying to make a good Spider-Man. It's unbelievable how wrong they continuously get Spider-Man. So, and the suit that Spidey's wearing, I'm not digging it either.
You don't
it
like
looks like Ultimate Spider-Man, I guess, but with I don't know. I'm just not really.
I like the eyes move. I like how he did the little thing with the eyes. That's kind of cool.
That was neat.
Really, when I saw that, I wanted to punch the face off of Spider-Man.
Here's why I like it, because it looks like when they first started doing the whole comic book movie, like when they first started getting big, like everybody was so afraid to actually like admit they were a comic book movie. Like if you watch like Thor, the first Thor, Green Lantern, even like Iron Man 3, like they were so hesitant to put the superhero and make it like superhero-ish. And like with Spider-Man, it's like they're just going full blown. Like, yeah, we're going to animate the eyes like they would. Like his eyes are going to look like they would in the comic book. When he's excited, his eyes will get big. When he's mad, they'll get small. And I think that's neat. They're taking that risk with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the impression that they kind of installed like Peter Parker's camera into his eyes or something. I don't know why that was the impression, and it still gives me that when I watch it. I'm like, is that like a? Come on, please no. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. Also, I'm very disappointed that you just mentioned the Green Lantern movie, Kirk. So.
I didn't say anything nice about it.
Well, I was just mentioned. That's upsetting.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
That's okay.
But the one thing that worries me about that movie though is I know they couldn't do the story from the comic book. It's just too big and there's too many characters. But I really don't like how this one just seems to focus on Bucky. Like since the first Captain America movie, I've never really cared about Bucky. Like, it was never even after Winter Soldier, like, Winter Soldier died, then he didn't die. And I was like, okay. And then now it's like the whole crux of their fight seems to be him. And it's just not a character that I care that much about to really watch. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Black Panther looks cool, so.
Black Panther looks great. I'm really excited to see him in a movie.
Yeah.
Kind of side note, do you guys watch Flash and Arrow?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I got really excited.
I've seen. I don't watch Arrow. I've watched a little bit of Flash.
Yeah, I really loved that they brought in Vixen, who you don't see a lot, as being like a big superhero character, but like she's one of my favorites. So that really made it for me. I feel like DC, as far as if I had to tell someone to start somewhere, I would tell them to watch the TV shows, not the movies. Yeah. With DC. Yes. Because I feel like those are better.
No, it seems like the TV shows are doing a much better job of universe building than the movies are, as far as DC goes.
That's 100% true. Like, and Green Arrow. When I was growing up, Green Arrow was like my favorite. Like, I was just when I found out they were doing a series of them, I honestly couldn't. And then when I found out it was Steve playing, I was really upset, gutted
Yeah.
about the fact that they picked such a bad actor to play him. And then, honestly, the further he has now got a massive spot in my heart where I will forever love Stephen Amell for playing such a good Green Arrow, especially in the later seasons. He's just doing such a good job. He really is. And the Flash as well. Like I forget the guy's name. The guy who was in like Glee or something, right? So.
Yeah. That's still funny to me.
Yeah, the episode where he like sings and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, he was in Glee. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, they had to have a little bit of a cameo there.
Yeah, man.
It entertains me that both Barry and oh my gosh, I feel like such a horrible person. I can't remember her first name right now, but Supergirl, both of them are from Glee.
Oh,
from
really?
the later seasons. Yep. Fun fact. Guilty pleasure. It was my guilty pleasure, and I hate admitting it, but Glee was my guilty pleasure, and so seeing them diverse into this, like, what I really love, and don't hate admitting that I love it, I'm glad to see them in that.
I can just not get into Supergirl or Legends of Tomorrow at all.
Ooh.
I just can't.
Yeah. Legends of Tomorrow, it broke my heart a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a little rough. I mean, it's a little over the top. Like the guy that plays Captain Cold.
Yeah.
Like that voice he puts on is just like, you know, like old time like mustache twirler villain type. You know, like Snidely Whiplash. It's too much.
Yeah.
And then the thing I was watching it, and it was him and the other guy that was in Prison Break.
Mm-hmm.
And they're having a scene together. I think he's Heatwave, the other guy from Prison Break that was in Prison Break. And they're sitting there and they're breaking somebody out of prison, and they're having a conversation. And Captain Cold leans over to him and was like, you know, this isn't my first prison break. And I was like, click. That was it for me. After that, I just couldn't take it after that.
Yeah, I watched the pilot episode for that one, and then I haven't touched it since.
Yeah.
They've gone a little too far. Like I said, I love with the Flash that it's a comic book. It's like a comic book brought to life. But I think they've gone a little too far with the Heroes of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
The Legends of Tomorrow, whatever it's called.
I feel like Brandon Routh has destroyed yet a second DC character for me. I don't know.
Can you believe the demotion that guy took? He was Superman, and now he's Atom. I mean, how far could you fall? I mean, I like the Atom. But to go from being Superman to the Atom, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. I've watched that Superman film 3 times. Okay, 3 times. The first time I watched it, I hated it. The second time I watched it, I hated it even more. And the third time I watched it, I had to rewatch it to figure out whether he actually threw a punch or not. And it turns out he didn't.
He did not.
I gotta say, the one problem I do have, I guess my rant, with Arrow is Black Canary, what they've done to her. She was one of my favorite superheroines. I have a huge list, of course, but like she was one of my favorites, and seeing what they've done to her, Arrow kind of, she's got a CW angst a lot in that first season, and it kills me a bit.
That is something that shows have working against them, is being on the CW and having to at least somewhat cater to that audience.
Yeah.
I think that might hinder some of the storytelling.
I always forget the name of the girl who plays Laurel Lance, but sometimes she frustrates me so much that I have to watch the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street just to see her get like chased like a demon.
Jeez.
Come on, Frankie. It's like I'm kind of sick that way, so yeah.
All right, guys. I guess we could wrap things up here. But before we do, I just want to ask you guys, Jessi, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on your blog, on your channel. What are some things you have coming up?
Well, I can give you at least a sneak peek to what's happening on the Board Game Blender. This is what I'm going to be making and showing everyone how to make is a bracelet from Skulldug. And I am being all cheesy and doing some horoscope humanoids for my blog, which is not that exciting, but I decided that I wanted to do it, and it kind of happened, so we'll see. I'm trying to find creative ways to reuse coloring pages because like that's such a big thing right now for a lot of people is, you know, coloring to de-stress, and it's just like, do you just throw it out and create more trash, or do you try to use it around your place? So that's with my blog, and then with my channel, I am trying to make it to where it's a little bit more than just Board Game Blender, and so it'd be like tips and tricks for hosting game night and setting the right atmosphere for those board games that you love that like can't really get people into, and just fun snacks for that. So
Cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm gonna check that out.
I'm excited.
What do you got going on?
Reviews. Probably a couple more. Actually, two more live chats planned and all kind of booked and ready. Don't want to give away too much who the guest. Actually, I will give away the next guest because I think that's in 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's in less than 10 days. So, Werfel reviews. I believe they're also your buddies on Blender as well, Jessi. So,
Yes, I love them. They create such great skits. I love watching it.
So we have those. Hopefully, both of them coming on. That'd be really cool to see them both, to get them both on. I believe they're going to be using different laptops though, so I guess we'll find out how that goes. So we've got that coming up with a live chat, and then after that we'll literally be about a month away before the expo, and I'm kind of trying to prepare for that a little bit because I've got a couple of press passes, so hopefully I'll manage to get some filming done. I'm going to bug Tom Vassell because he's going to be there. I'm just going to bother as much people as I can, really, to get some, hopefully some inside info for the channel. I'll be speaking to Paul Grogan as well. He's hopefully going to be hooking us up with some demos. That would be cool to get to see Codename Pictures because he's running the CGE booth this year.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm jealous.
So there's quite a lot happening for me and the channel coming up. So it's going to be, like I said, a long drive. We're going to get to meet Jeff. That's going to be nice. Also, giving him a lift down. So, other than that, there's quite a lot going on. Just some reviews. I feel like I did a channel update for January, and then I didn't manage to get one done for February. I didn't manage to get one done for March. I promised to get one done for April, but now my plan is just to do like a quarterly update, like what I've been doing, because I talk a lot about what I've been playing on my live chats, so I don't really want to like overwhelm people with, oh, does he just play like the same games all the time? Like, no, it's just the same information twice. Like, that's kind of boring. So, as you guys can probably know, I can literally talk for the whole of the UK. Certainly talk for Scotland at most. Like, just constantly, I'll just yap on and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Blah blah blah.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't you tell me, Jessi? Tell us where we can find you. Your YouTube channel, Twitter, your blog. Tell us everybody where to go to find you.
Oh, geez. Well, my blog is not completely like board game related, but I mean, if you want to see cool crafts and art that I try creating, it's artsyrobot.wordpress.com. Sorry, I can't talk. That's my blog, and then my Twitter, which is kind of a collection of everything that's happening, and I suggest probably the best place for you to check out my stuff is just at artsyrobot. And unfortunately, it's annoyingly spelled, but hopefully you can find it. And just type in Boards and Crafts on YouTube channel, and you can find it that way.
All right. Georgie, how about you?
You can catch me on Twitter at Beers and Boards. I've been tweeting an awful lot recently, tweeting my tweets. I don't really know what you call that. And you can also catch me on YouTube, Beers and Board Games review channel, BGG, Beers and Board Games, and yeah, that's all my current locations. I'm definitely not starting a Facebook page because that's my personal thing. Like,
all right, cool. And now, Jessi, you said you're going to Gen Con, right?
I am. Yep.
Are you going to Origins?
No. Gen Con's only ones I'm going to.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm planning on later in the summer doing like a convention season episode. So maybe I can have you guys back and you can tell me everything, because I'm not going to either of the shows you guys are going to, so maybe we could all hook back up and talk about what we saw and what we liked.
Definitely. I'm game for it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. Once again, we are sponsored today by geekygoodies.com. Email me to win the Meeples poster. You can, am I putting it in the right place, win the Meeples poster. And just email me the name of one of the games that we talked about in our segment about board game first. rollandmovereviews@gmail.com. Send me your email. You'll be entered to win. 24 hours, 2:30 Eastern Time tomorrow, April 18th. I will look at the emails, and we will randomly select a winner. So you can find me. All my stuff's down at the bottom. Facebook, Twitter, Roll and Move on YouTube. And check it out. Thank you again to my guests. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.